Prosperous America. That's what most of us have known for years. But where are we now? And where are we going?
Across the country in the last, 8 years, we've seen the loss of more than 5 million manufacturing jobs alone, and the closure of 40,000 manufacturing facilities. And those 5 million jobs are not just the skilled frontline workers, but hundreds of thousands, up to 800,000 of these are the professional technical workers in these industries as well. The research, the design, the engineers, this pool of skilled talent from the workers to the professionals in these industries that actually innovate and make things. And our own studies show that up to 60% of these jobs that have been lost have been due directly to trade.
The current free trade agreements address the problem of the 1930s, which is tariffs. They don't address the 21st century problems of non-tariff problems, like other countries undervaluing their currency. For example, China has a 35% undervalued currency, which makes their goods 35% cheaper than they would be in a free market.
Anybody that produces anything in this country has to really go above and beyond the normal call of duty to put things on the market at a cost that is really well below the cost of our production here in order to have an opportunity to compete in the local global marketplace. This is a scenario that does not work well for American farmers, it does not work well for American manufacturers, and certainly does not work well for laborers.
The people that have the greatest knowledge of international trade in this country are the people who work for multinationals. It used to be that the leaders of our nation could turn to those heads of corporations and depend on them to give them good advice on what is good for America. The problem is the advice they're getting today is the advice that's good for their corporations, their multinationals, who are building plants abroad and are importing components and sub-assemblies here.
We have transnationals, which are the entities that provide the well-paid and very smart lobbyists to engage in trade policy. Nobody else was engaging. And so they look at what will benefit their companies. And if they are the only voice in the process, they get what benefits their companies. Now real people are engaging. That is CPA.
One of the more important things about this coalition is the nature of the coalition. That we are a cast of unlikely characters to be together, and people are always surprised when we come into a room together and you go, wait a minute, you got manufacturers, and a lot of them aren't even union ones, and geez, you got unions, and you got farmers, and you got ranchers. What are all you people doing together?
We try to approach it in a variety of ways. First of all, we have a number of our members who are members of the trade advisory committees, and we try to express our points of view there. And we have organized town meetings, and we found a more effective way of managing this process is by expressing a grassroots resistance. We have gone to direct lobbying and education initiatives on Capitol Hill and with local senators and congressmen when they come home to their districts.
It's interesting how people use the term. I mean, on the one hand, you can talk about, and it's fine to talk about protecting your family and your home and your neighborhood or the environment, or you want police and fire protection. But the second you start talking about doing anything to protect our jobs or our businesses and invest in our country, that somehow this becomes a negative.
When I hear that term, as it's used by multinationals today, what they are doing is protecting the protectionism of other countries and not their own country. They don't care about what's happening in our country. They're concerned about what's happening where they're building plants and protecting the advantages that they have with plants in those countries.
If you are a head of household or in a household and you lose your job, there is nothing that harms you and is more personal to you than that financial blow, which is a blow to your ability to make a living, ability to have health care, your self-confidence, your ability to get along with your spouse, your ability to look to your kids and feel that you're providing for them. Every time we offshore a manufacturer to a third world country, whether it's India, Asia, or elsewhere, the particulate pollution increases by anywhere from 5 to 10 times. The human rights issues are fundamentally affected by where we buy goods and ship our manufacturing. We replace well-paid, well-treated manufacturing workers here with poorly paid, poorly treated workers in other countries. So whether it's labor issues, environmental issues, human rights issues, economic issues, they're fixing the trade problem produces tremendous measurable improvement in all of those areas. And so CPA members, me, our leadership, our people in the field, all are working for these very fundamental benefits that and goals that we're trying to achieve.
Working for a new and positive U.S. trade policy that delivers prosperity and security to America, its citizens, farms, factories, and working people. We are the Coalition for a Prosperous America.